And we continue this afternoon on Central Valley Talk. I'm Mike Scott, joined now by local C.P.A. Christopher Bundros. And it's never too early to start talking taxes, is it?
That's
Well, for you, it's a
always.
year-round job, right?
It is, yeah.
Most of us just think of April 15th, but businesses and companies have to think of it all year long.
That's
well, I guess
correct.
people should think of it all year long, too, right?
Yeah, it's a good idea to keep a tax plan going and take a look at your situation all year long. But
Today you wanted to specifically talk about, though, taxpayer money.
I want to talk about taxpayer money because as a CPA during tax season, it's my responsibility to prepare someone's taxes in a way that minimizes their taxes according to the tax law. But then there's another issue where it comes with the use of taxpayer money. And recently there was an extension of the government spending that was done by Congress. And
They do that all the time.
well, they did that again, and
They're spending money they don't have.
they're spending money that they don't have, and so that's a problem. And unfortunately, it seems to be both a Republican and Democrat problem because they're all voting the same way to continue their spending. And
Well, nobody wants to be accused of shutting down the government again, right? If they don't extend it.
Exactly, but I mean, why do we even have to get to that point? It seems like we should care enough, or our elected representatives should care enough to not have to get to that point where we can just talk like reasonable people.
Fix the problem.
Fix the problem.
We're paying you
correct.
to be back there and fix the problem.
Exactly, and then what people necessarily aren't being told is that they took money away from Social Security again to plug the holes.
And they're not supposed to take that money.
Well-
The money's supposed to be there for Social Security.
This is not the first time they've done that.
Right.
And they did it again in this most recent budget pass that raised the debt again. And the way where they found the money was Social Security. So they're basically stealing from Peter to pay Paul.
They're stealing from me.
Exactly.
And you and everybody. Yeah.
Exactly. So as a tax preparer and a professional, I'm concerned about these things and raising the issues because one of the things that I'm in favor for is a simpler tax code. There's always going to be work for people like me. It doesn't benefit me at all to have a super complicated tax code so that people can then be kind of forced to pay a number of people to keep track of their regular taxes, which could be very much simplified if they went with maybe a flat tax or something like that. Besides, businesses will always need extra help with their accounting
Sure.
to get their profit and loss in line because their tax rate is going to be based upon their profit and loss. So there's plenty of work to go around. It's not like we will lose our jobs as CPAs or attorneys or someone to make a fix in the system that will benefit every American. So now that we're entering the political cycle again, it seems like we're always in the political cycle.
Election's a year away still.
It is.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It is. But realizing is that the people today, they're almost speaking the same language. You'll have someone like Hillary Clinton, for example, saying the same things as Marco Rubio, who's running for Republican, saying maybe even the same thing as one of our local congressmen, Nunes, is speaking out when it comes to, for example, foreign intervention. And again, that's the use of taxpayer money. So the question is whether we have authorization to go in and overthrow a government like we did in Libya and like we've tried to do in Syria, and what we're interfering in the political landscapes of Russia and Ukraine and all these areas here. All these political people that I mentioned just a minute ago, they're all on the same page saying that the United States has a right to go in and use taxpayer money to change the political landscape in these countries. Well, even though it's been proven, for example, by using the taxpayer money and changing the political landscape in Syria, that it's actually made things worse. We've actually ended up giving taxpayer tanks and ammunitions to our enemies on the ground in Syria. It's been proven. And that they're actually now turning those weapons on innocent civilians. So it seems to be a vicious cycle, and it's being run by a government that seems to be focused on continual warfare. This is a business show, but running continual warfare is not good for business. Even though there's a lot
Halliburton might disagree, but
even though there's a lot of people out there that make money when there's war, it's not good business for our country to continue in that path. We should, during this election year, we as Americans should not say that it's not possible for my candidate to win, so therefore I'm going to vote for someone else. We should basically figure out who we're going to vote for, take it very seriously, and stick with this person, no matter what the ratings or what the news media is saying who's ahead, because we never know. We could make a difference if everyone were to vote according to the way they believe, rather than what the news media want, how they want us to vote. Some people will, my own children will say, "Dad, why do you want to vote for this person? He'll never win." And my my response is, well, that's exactly why I'm voting for this person. Because if everyone believed that way, of course he'll never win, or she'll never win. So, as someone who represents the taxpayers in front of the IRS, and someone who takes his job seriously and helping people to manage their money and protect themselves from danger when it comes to financial problems they might face. Also, maybe a little higher vocation that I have is also educating my friends, because I consider my customers to be my friends, of the problems that we face in this government. And what is required is that we as citizens actually work to try to take back our liberties that we've seen taken away from us.
Christopher, you should consider having your own show here on Central Valley Talk. I mean, I can tell how passionate you are about this. I wish we had more time. But seriously, I mean, have you ever considered that?
Well, I enjoy speaking about these types of things. I'm very passionate because I see this as an ongoing struggle that's going to affect our kids, my kids, our grandkids, that has affected my brothers who fought in two wars, and I've seen friends who have fought in Iraq, and I've seen people that are tired of the same thing. So what I try to do is I try to put some belief in people's hearts and say it's possible to think differently. Challenge your elected people. Ask them questions. Make them stand behind their answers. So thank you very much for having me today.
Why don't you run for office?
Well, I probably would never win, but what I do is I take my God-given freedoms very seriously, and I more than just vote. I've realized that it takes more than just voting. It takes a little bit of action as well, like our service people, that we're going to remember tomorrow on Veterans Day, how they have sacrificed their lives for our country. So it's a little sacrifice that I can give. Also, that's what I call it. My bigger vocation is to teach people and not to be afraid of any consequences that might befall me. For example, loss of business, or people looking at me strange because I'm not your regular CPA. I mean, just I like to see the big picture, and I am much bigger than just preparing taxes for people
more than numbers,
and making money
more than numbers.
money.
All right, Christopher Bundros.
So
Where's your office? What's your website? What's your phone number? How can folks reach you?
I'm located at Temperance and Alluvial. I'm located in the Clovis Storage and Executive Office Suites. So it's I maintain a virtual office there,
Right.
so people can call me and I'll meet them there. I'll set an appointment. My website is bundroscpa.com, and my phone number is 559 area code 765-0313.
Christopher Bundros, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
in today.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we will be back with more on Central Valley Talk.